Hello everybody, I'm Elwirfy and today we're going to be going over this wonderful small content creator. I love promoting small content creators. That is awesome. So go to subscribe to Munarino over here. I think that he's absolutely wonderful. Here's his channel. In fact, let's go ahead and open up the link in the new tab. Pause whatever that is. Because he's playing all kinds of games. He doesn't have a lot of videos, but you know what? This guy has done a great job, I think, making videos, and I really want to promote this guy. So go subscribe to him if you haven't already. I think that this guy is an amazing dude, and I like the way he does his commentary. Sorry, I wanted to do that ahead of time, before we get into the video. So the actual video, we're going over this one. He's talking about the Killing Floor 3 beta, talking about it if you haven't seen it already, I'd like you to obviously go watch the previous video about this where we talked about the gameplay trailers, and I talked about kind of little things that I noticed in the trailers that I thought was a valuable mention, just about like texturing and the way that things are designed and gameplay features that I noticed from the trailer. But I want to show off some proper gameplay of Killing Floor 3 because I didn't get access to the closed beta, but also to give comments on what he's talking about as well and just add some more depth, I think. Okay. So as you can see, we do get a good, like, in the way he's designed this video himself. He's showing off the bosses, different characters, the fighting. So it's all there, which is good. That's perfectly fine.
Who was this made for? After almost 15 hours with debate,
so you can see, like, there's a new skin of the bloater, for example. That's cool.
I still don't have an answer. If you played any cooperative FPS in the past few years, you've already played Killing Floor 3. One of its biggest issues is a lack of identity. It feels like a Frankenstein of different games, struggling to stand out.
So about that, I would just say that Killing Floor 3's identity has been changed because of, I think, the lack of attention to the destruction that you can cause to the Zeds. To me, that's what I've noticed. But we'll see what he considers.
I don't think it's dead on arrival, but if the devs want players to stick around for more than a few hours, they have a lot of work ahead of them. Let's start by looking at the characters. New to Killing Floor 3 are specialists. Instead of picking any class and using whatever skin you like, classes are now locked to specific characters. For example, if you want to play as Mr. Foster, you're stuck as a commando. Despite the backlash, I don't see the developers backing down from this system. My biggest issue isn't just the class restriction,
right?
It's how generic these characters feel. They are...
Yeah, and that's all a good point. We'll go back a bit here. So as you can see, you get a bunch of different characters, but you only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're losing some classes as well. They're taking classes out, which I think is a bit disappointing, especially like getting rid of the difference between like support. We're losing gunslinger. We're losing a lot of different stuff. So this is a much smaller game, which is disappointing. I would say at the minimum, I think it's disappointing. I think that character customization, to be able to have the idea of like, oh, I'm a survivor. Because one thing about the game of Killing Floor that I think people don't really keep in mind is the fact that the ability to walk around and when you run out of ammo, just grab another gun off the floor because there be guns spawned around the map. As far as I know, that's not in the game anymore. There might still be ammo pickups. That might be cool to see. I forget if he mentions it in the video, but you're really, because you have this class system where you have to pre-pick your loadout kind of before you even go into the battle, or maybe you still have, do they even still have the machines where you go to buy stuff, like the whole in-between round of like purchasing your gear? Again, I didn't play the beta, so I apologize that I don't know this. Maybe you guys can answer in the comments, but I'm really worried about the lack of creativity of coming up with different ways to load out your characters. I think it's really concerning. Like the fact that like you can show on a character its damage, survivability, and like that tells me you're very limited in what you can do. And so the weapon variety is going to have to be a lot more restricted. And so if you're playing a game and you might be wanting to try something out, you might be like, oh, I want to try out using the machine gun and a shotgun because I want to have a close combat and long range weapon, but maybe you can't do that anymore. And another thing that sucks is that the way Killing Floor usually works for increasing experience is that whatever weapon you kill a Zed with would earn you experience for that class. Though now it would seem like no matter what weapon you use, you're only leveling for your specific class, seemingly. Unless there's a player level that I don't know about. But as you can see, it's Luna 11 here. You can see the 11 for Luna. And then over here, you can see his character profile's at a 10. Or maybe that's for Mr. Foster because he's already selected Mr. Foster. I'm not sure. But we can see there's a difference in leveling. So that just means that in terms of how you want to earn your experience and what you like, it doesn't feel like you earn experience for all your classes kind of evenly based on whatever weapon you choose. Now it's based on what specific class you play, so you're going to be having to grind more to level up the same stuff. Whereas one class could, in like Killing Floor 2, you could level up, even in Killing Floor 1, it's based on whatever weapon you were holding. So you could have a pistol, that would level up like your sharpshooter, and then you would have a shotgun, that levels up obviously your support, a machine gun, level up your commando. You can do that all in one class, but now you're seemingly tied to a single class, which is very disappointing.
For example, if you want to play as Mr. Foster, you're stuck as a commando. Despite the back system might be.
And you can see that there's some different stuff that you're set to. So because of that, that means you're not buying grenades, seemingly. Or like maybe you don't start with them, but you're limited in what you can have. This tells me a lack of variety and a lack of customization, which is very disappointing.
The biggest issue isn't just the class restriction, it's how generic these characters feel.
I'm not worried about that.
They're level bland, but they still lack personality.
The characters were never that interesting besides Mr. Foster and a couple other select people to me. Now, someone else might disagree with that. Maybe there were characters you were really invested in. But I didn't think that, again, Killing Floor's storyline is pretty iffy. I'm not really playing it for the story. There's not really even a campaign in the game. That's just not a thing. But I understand what he says, like the modeling themselves look very generic, I suppose. It certainly looks way too clean. Killing Floor has always had this grungy aesthetic, I think. So I think that this just makes it a little too nice. Oh, you know what I noticed? My webcam's not covering the XP thing. Well, just know in the top right corner, or here, if we switch to default view, that might work. You can see there's an XP thing. Yeah.
I mean, the ninja personality is that he just speaks Japanese. Each specialist has a unique ability, basically an ultimate skill.
Okay, so you can see that on the in the video, you can see that there's a grenade button, a 4, an X. So you can see the limited like stuff. So before you'd have a bunch of weapons you could stack up in a different variety of things, but the fact that they preset on your screen these things, to me tells me you're very limited in what you have. Right? Like, I don't mind that, like, telling you, oh, Q is your heal. Q's always been healed. That's fine. But it makes the HUD feel more cluttered, right? Because you look at, actually, yeah, let's go to, real quickly. Sorry about this, everyone. Let's just go to the Killing Floor 2 gameplay, just of anybody. I don't care who it is. We could even look at, yeah, whatever. This one. We'll just mute it. I don't know who this is. But let's just look at the HUD. The HUD is still giving you information. You have information about the trader. Notice here, there are waves, but I don't see anything about where the trader is located, unless this is some sort of indicator. But this is showing, look at that, you only have a certain amount of waves, but I don't see any arrows for the trader at all. So the trader is just not involved, all right? You can still have the wave counter, you know, health, armor, that's still there, that's fine. You instead of saying Q to you, it just shows you that your health is charged, which I think is an important distinction actually, because you know this game treats you like you're a smart person. This one is telling you, hey, you got to hit Q to use your. I don't know. That just takes away some of the maturity, I think.
For example, Mr. Foster can deploy a drone to attack enemies, and these abilities recharge over time, and while the game calls them gadgets, if you played a hero shooter before, you know exactly what they are.
So you also have, we already talked about this, but the unique abilities that are tied to each character. So again, a lack of customization, I think, that's being brought out to me.
The perk system from Killing Floor 1 and 2 has been massive.
So let's take a look at this perk system. So you do still level up your stuff, but it's preset. What gear you're using, what weapons you're using. You know, you look at like Killing Floor 2 classes. Actually, let's just do an image search for that. Let me zoom. I can't. Well, let me zoom. Anyway, the point is the class system here was very. It was still linear, but you definitely got to choose what skills you have, but your skills didn't affect your weapons and like what you could buy or not buy. Here with this one, your gadget is a preset thing, so you're always stuck with it. You can't like you have no variety.
Overhaul,
right?
With characters now having 3 skill trees with multiple perks to choose from, and you can also level up each perk to increase its effect. The game also introduces customizable loadouts by collecting blueprints and materials.
And I think that's actually kind of cool, the ability to put attachments on weapons and stuff. I think that's actually all right. But to me, if you're going with this in-depth system, I'm going to be worried about how much weapon variety you actually have.
You can craft attachments for your guns. Attachments can improve reload speed, increase damage, and they just let you tailor your weapons to your playstyle. Each attachment can be upgraded, and they all come with a random unique ability.
Whoa. They come with a random unique ability? So I mean, some people are just going to have a worse gameplay experience. This is a PvE game. Why are you making random bonuses? You know why? Because they can add loot boxes later. They could add experience packs. They could add season passes. Things to make you do better. I think this is absolutely a backwards decision. Completely backwards. The fact that you get a random ability and not a preset ability based on what you want to upgrade tells me that they want to make it so you have to keep digging for abilities. That's a problem.
The idea of grinding for materials in a game like this just feels weird. You can shoot security cameras for scrap or kill certain enemies.
So now they want to take your focus away from killing the Zeds. I understand that Killing Floor has never been a very deep game. It's always been about you go in, you kill the Zeds, Zeds give you money, you buy more gear to kill. But that was a good gameplay loop. Why are you making me spend my time looking for metal and scavenging instead of killing the Zeds? I can feel this guy was prioritizing getting the scrap over killing the Zed. That's ridiculous. That's not what, to me, Killing Floor should be about. Again, I know I'm biased, I know, but it feels like they're moving away from what Killing Floor was meant to be.
To collect resources. But does Killing Floor really need this kind of system?
Right.
There are quite a few guns in Killing Floor 3 that sound and feel like toy guns. Shotguns in particular feel very underwhelming, while a few weapons manage to feel good, most like the punch you'd expect. Coming from Killing Floor 2, this is definitely a big downgrade. Let me show.
Yeah, you can see the shotgun here isn't doing as much of an impact. There's less stagger. I think that's part of the problem too. You get less stagger on the Zeds, which is a bit disappointing.
Show you some footage from Killing Floor 2 so you can see how different the gunplay feels.
Yeah, it's like the Zed's not even reacting to the shotgun. It's ridiculous.
Pay attention to the weight behind the shots and the satisfying feel of the weapons in action. In contrast, Killing Floor 3 weapons lack that immediate feedback, reload and...
So this is it. This is all the weapon variety. Like, these are all the same gun. So we have 4 guns for this class. Like, that's pretty weak. I mean, or God, or is this everything? Is this the store? Hold on, this might be the store because this says trade. So maybe it's different loadouts, like based on attachments you put on it. That'd be interesting. But like, still only 4 choices for one class. So mid-game, you're really not upgrading and you're not changing. Part of what the fun of Killing Floor was that I might still have my dinky little pistol, then I might upgrade to like a lever action, then I upgrade to like the M14, and then we're getting all the way up to a sniper rifle like a Barrett, and you see this progression throughout the game, and you feel yourself get more powerful. That's part of the fun. It's part of the power fantasy, right? Because all Killing Floor is a power fantasy about wanting to kill Zeds. So why are we limiting how many weapons you can get? That's super disappointing.
Animations, which were a standout feature in Killing Floor 2, now look very stiff. The weight system from the previous games is gone. Instead, every character is limited to 2 primary weapons, a secondary weapon, and a tool.
Yeah, the weight system was good because it offered balance, but it let you still move weapons around. It let you could have up to like 4 primary weapons, and if you were smart, you could have a bunch of low tier weapons with tons of ammo, and then you would be able to like clear through so many enemies and just refill. Like, there was strategy, there was thought behind your weapon choice, and it made your choices feel impactful because your weapon choices affect how the group plays as well for that team synergy. But now it's like, okay, there's going to be, what's going to happen. There's going to be people who are like, okay, well, what character do you want to play? And you, I just realized. I just realized one of the cool things about Killing Floor 2 and 1 is that you could change your class mid-match. In this game, I bet you can't change your class. I bet you now maybe I'm wrong, but I bet you're probably stuck with whatever you pick at the beginning.
Speaking of tools, the game introduces a multi-tool which lets you activate turrets, use zip lines, and open shortcuts.
That's fine.
Zip lines help you escape danger, and as you can see, the move.
Why are we adding sliding? Hold on. What are you doing? Are we going to be like... Don't make this like Advanced Warfare, please. Don't ruin, like... So Killing Floor is not a scary game, but running away was supposed to be like a last resort. If you're able to just slide around everyone, is there much of a challenge at that point? Like part of the challenge has always been the fact that you're kind of holding the line a bit. Yeah, you run around, you can avoid stuff, but your movement was still pretty restricted, so that way the zombies could catch you. If you can just slide away, I mean, I don't know what the limits are, but if you can just slide away from enemies, that's not good to me.
The system has been completely reworked compared to the previous 2 games. The biggest addition to combat is movement abilities.
That wasn't even that much of a slide, but you can see, doesn't it feel like the zombies move slower?
Compared to the previous 2.
Like right here, just watch how slowly they move.
The biggest addition to combat.
Yeah, why are they all walking? At that distance, to me, they should be running at them.
Is movement abilities. You now have a dash and a slide. The dash is actually a solid addition. You can dash sideways or backward, and while it took me a while to get used to, it quickly became an essential tool for dodging enemies.
But the thing is, I don't know if I agree that it should be an essential tool. So now you're going to have a bunch of people sliding around instead of... So there's less teamwork. Okay. Because I know some people might be upset by like, oh, why are you hating on sliding? Because sliding makes you more isolated when you move around. You're going to be on your own. You're not really going to be hanging out with your team. Part of the fun of Killing Floor, to me at least, that I enjoyed, was when you'd all hold up in a room together and you'd be defending and you'd be working off of your weapon choices and like, okay, the sniper, he's got to take the Scrake out, whereas maybe the shotgun guys going after the little crawlers who are on the ceiling and stuff because they had that one-hit kill potential, and then the machine gun guys like clearing through most of the main mobs. Like there was like that teamwork. But here, if like I have a sniper rifle, I could shoot you, and then if little dude, I just slide the hell away. There's no reliance on your teammates anymore, so it becomes less of a team game as well.
The slide, on the other hand, just doesn't feel right. It lacks momentum. Sliding in and out of combat to reposition is helpful, but using it too much for mobility feels awkward.
Well, yeah, it probably feels awkward because if you're spending your time sliding, you're not taking the time to really line up shots and get the kills that you want to in a consistent manner, because you're probably moving around too much. And that's just disappointing to me. I find that really disappointing.
Now, boss fights were clearly designed with these movement abilities in mind. Boss fights actually make you use all the tools you have at your disposal.
That's fine.
And so far, I actually found them to be the most engaging part of the game. The beta includes 3 boss fights and...
I don't know about how I feel about that. Did he blow that door up, or did the Zed blow the door up? Because the whole point of so this is another thing that's interesting, right? So the whole point of having sealable entrances was so that way you might have a guy who's really good at welding, that was a skill, and so you'd focus on welding that door shut to keep the Zeds out, and then your teammate, you could like funnel where the enemies come from. But if there's this emphasis on moving around the map, do you really even need the doors anymore? Like, what's the point? Why would you even bother closing and shutting off access points if, 1, the doors get destroyed too quickly, and 2, you're not, again, together as a team, so you're not... There's no need to cut off multiple entry points when you're more advantaged to just run around the open. Killing Floor let you choose if you want to be a run and gun player or a stand and fight player, and both were valid strategies, and I think we're losing that here.
3 maps, with the full game promising 7 maps at launch. As for the maps, out of the 3, I only really like the factory. The map design overall feels underwhelming.
Hey, there's one in my state, that's fun.
With large open spaces meant for dashing and sliding. The claustrophobic, intense layouts from the previous game are mostly gone.
See, and that's a problem. So that's why I said you don't need the doors anymore. Why are you putting doors in your game if there's no need for them at all? I feel like the game is scarier when you're in tighter spaces and you're reliant on your teammates, and that just doesn't happen here.
There is currently no server browser nor a quick join option.
Okay. And I was going to do some comparisons, which is fair. We looked at those comparisons from the trailers. But you can immediately tell that this is more recognizable because of the bright yellow stuff on him. This is far less recognizable. Not that they aren't. Like, I can tell what this is. This is a flesh pound, and this is a flesh pound. But I don't. This is more distinct than this because the armor blocks a lot of the distinctive features to me.
Oh! They sent a flashbang!
I don't know. It's just showing off the differences. They both seem to move fine. I'm not really too worried about the animations.
We made it in!
Although it does seem like this is harder to dodge than this one. This guy seems like he's moving a bit slow, actually. You know what? I take that back. Maybe I do care about the animations, because his animations are making him move slower. Like, this guy's having a sprint to run away.
I'm running this on an RTX 3060, and even on high settings, it didn't look good. I reverted to medium settings to get a more acceptable frame rate.
Everyone's graphics are going to be different based on your monitor and the quality of the game itself. I'm not too worried about graphics. I care more about how the game feels to play. Appreciatively understand that graphics aren't part of the game, but honestly, I'm looking at it, and maybe it's because of how we recorded it, I don't see much of a difference for graphical change.
Honestly, I have no idea how players with less powerful GPUs will manage to run this game. For me, the animations are the biggest issue. The sets in this game feel unnatural. It's almost like they're missing some animations, or the transition between them.
Okay, and stuff like that, I don't mind having like an animation that takes a while, but if you're locked in an animation, are you invincible when you do that animation? Because if you're not, you would easily be killed by the Zeds. So to me, that means you must be invincible while you're doing this animation. And Killing Floor, played at the right difficulty, will be intense, where you need to get a lot of kills quickly. You don't have time to be animating through every single one. This isn't Doom, all right? Like, Doom is good because it's single player. You're not relying on anyone else. So if Doom wants to take the time to throw your fist into a monster's face and pull out their guts, that's fine, because there's no one waiting on you. No one's relying on you to hurry up. But do you really want these kind of animations in a multiplayer game where you're in a rush to help out your squad? I feel like that's not good.
Are clunky. They often stop mid-action before transitioning to the next.
Yeah, like that poor guy with the fire, he's getting surrounded. What if we were still in that animation and we couldn't come shoot? There's just real concerns about that.
One, creating a jarring effect. These animations issue.
Oh, did you see that? See how it glitched out? Let's do this in well, let's just watch.
Creating
so
a jarring
look how
effect.
it's standing. It's standing and then it drops down instantly. It just instantly cut down. Hope you guys saw that. That's pretty bad. That you can to have it just insta-duck, that's a problem.
Issues don't just make the game look bad.
Oh, you know why it happened? It's because he's in an animation. So that's the other thing about animations in the game, is that you're going to not like it's going to feel like your weapons aren't as impactful, because an animation might make it feel like you can't, like, there's no reason for him to shoot now, right? There's no sense of teamwork. You're taking teamwork away for individual moments. Not that individual moments are bad, but what do you, like, you're sacrificing something to get something. So it's just showing kind of what they value. They value more of the individual player experience rather than that team dynamic. So I think that's why we're losing some of the identity in Killing Floor.
They also impact how it feels to play. When enemies move unnatural, it breaks the immersion and it makes combat feel less intense. I mentioned before that gun reloading animations are terrible, but honestly, animations in general look bad.
I don't hate the animation for the gun reload, but it was a bit slow. I don't think I remember it being that slow before. Maybe that's a me thing.
It's a clear step down from the previous game. I'm not sure what happened here, because I actually like some of the new set designs, but in motion they look really
I mean, let's look at the way they move a bit.
off. They don't move naturally or even travel across the map in a realistic way, and this is painfully obvious when you compare it to Killing Floor 2. Take the Fleshbound, for example. In Killing Floor 2,
yeah, it's kind of weird the way it's tracking, but I'm not as worried about that.
I'm just afraid of this thing just by the.
But do you see it? Are you guys seeing it? The way that it's like snapping to different things? It's not moving naturally, like in between attacks. It just seems clunky. I know, again, maybe it's not clear to see, but let's go back a little bit. I'll just show you. Like, let's even, like, we're gonna mute this real quick, and we're gonna change our playback speed down to 25. I really want to show off kind of what's going on here. So we get the shot. He's gonna attack here, and that's fine. It missed the attack. I think I went a little too far back in the video. So we get a swing out, okay, on the movement. And then, yeah, and then right there, see how it did a double take? Do we see that? I hope we saw that. It did a double take of its animation. And then, partly because it's so blurry, it's hard to tell what's happening. But I don't know. It feels snappy, right? I want to go show that again. So the guy, he's in the backward stance, and we have this claw that's coming forward. That's fine. It hits you. It hits the player, and then it comes back, and then he instantly pops up, like into almost like a T-pose. Like he has to reset his animation. And then it jumps back, and then it jumps instantly back again. So we're seeing glitches already, and I understand that maybe this can be fixed, and hopefully it is, but it's not looking good when we all know for most AAA games, betas tend to show off how the game's going to be. I'm not expecting a big change of gameplay. I'm really not. And then the rest is seemingly fine. Let's go back. Sorry. Playback speed. Whoopsies.
Way it moves, the Fleshbound in Killing Floor 3 doesn't feel menacing at all. The one in Killing Floor 2 feels like a killing machine, while the one in Killing Floor 3 looks like it has no idea what to do. You can feel the weight.
I think the zipline thing is interesting, being able to climb up and down stuff, but it makes the Fleshpound less scary if you can kind of get away from it.
Behind the Killing Floor 2 Fleshbound that
I mean, they jump up, but they jump up at a different spot. So that gives you time to kind of do a circle thing where you can never get caught. And to me, that takes away some of this intensity of the game. If you're unable to be killed, what's the point of playing?
The lack of weight and proper movement in the new.
Yeah, see how, like, oh my god, there's so many zip lines. You should not be able to escape this easily. Like, if you screw up and you don't kill it, like, you need to get caught and die. That's part of the game. It's okay to die in a game. Are developers afraid of players dying? I don't understand.
Fleshbound makes it feel like less of a threat. Hopefully with the full.
See how we got stuck there? Do you guys see that? You totally got stuck in that animation. I'll mute it again. I just think it's so important to show this off. Okay, so he's running. He turns. See how it's still not found the player? It got stuck. So it's running. You can see it glitching out. And it takes a while for it to turn and even do that. So it's just like, it's things like that that lower the intensity, right? Why do we care about this? Because we want the enemies to come at us. Zombie AI should be one of the easiest AIs to figure out. And the fact that they're getting stuck on stuff, maybe there's too much debris, I don't know. But then again, the maps are more open. There's actually less debris. And look how bright some of these maps are. Not that bright is bad, but it doesn't feel like an apocalypse. It kind of feels like just the generic white. Oh man, I don't know. These environments are kind of looking shit too.
Hopefully, with the full release coming up in a few weeks, the performance and visuals will improve through patches or optimization.
They better.
However, I don't expect the animations to get fixed unless what I played was a very, very early.
I'm not worried about the lagging. That's a PC thing apparently for him, but definitely there's some clear concerns.
Build. Killing Floor 2 biggest issue was that it took forever for devs to make new content, and now with Killing Floor 3, devs not only have.
Are we running or walking in this pose? I can't tell if we're walking or running. I hope we're walking because it's not the way the gun is being held looks really strange. Doesn't it? Is that again, maybe it's me thing, but it looks odd.
Have to focus on making new content, but also on improving the way the game plays and run. They have a titanic task with Killing Floor 3 and I wish them good luck. Remember, this is just a beta, maybe things change, but if this is how the game is going to launch,
right,
then they might as well rename this and call it Early Access. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great rest of your day.
So yeah, definitely go subscribe to this guy, by the way. He's really cool. And yeah, I've been meaning to play Trepang too. I really should get around to actually playing that because I love the demo. I forgot why I didn't play it, but well, I'll get to it. But yeah, and if you look at the comments, let's just go over some comments real quick as well, as I like to do whenever we talk about videos. This is the big one to me. Yeah, locking classes is a universally hated mechanic in Gears of War 5 and was removed due to backlash. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing in terms of limiting. It seems weird. You're really missing out on a lot of what made Killing Floor 2 and Killing Floor 1 even a good game. You really wanted to have that variety of your ability to pick whatever weapon you want at any time, to be able to pick any class you want, change your perks. They were called perks, they weren't classes. There's just a lack of variety, and the small weapon counts per class. Oh my god, like come on, we want to have a lot of weapons. I don't know, it seems worrying. Yeah, the side by side was rough. The fact that it's harder to identify as well is concerning. yeah, the reason why okay, this is an interesting. Let's read this. This is a bit more in depth. From Ace Falcon here. He said, "The reason I dislike the hero system is that I don't want to be character X because I think Z is cooler, or most importantly, their voice in FPS games. But Z's class sucks, so I'm forced to hear or see something I don't like to play. See something I don't like to play a class I do. It's not a competitive game, correct? So I don't need to know what each character can do, right? Killing Floor 2 already had enough information to know who was playing what, correct? Limiting player choice, especially in a sequel, is something I'll never like. I agree with that. That's completely reasonable. Another reason is it's typically done to producing cosmetics. Exactly. This game is going to get ruined by a battle pass, by, oh god, better not be loot boxes, but it's going to be ruined by cosmetics and trying to take your money. I do not play games that have lots of microtransactions in them. I try to avoid it as much as I can. Helldivers 2 is an exception because you can play the game, and I was willing to put in the effort to grind out to get things that I needed, but I don't really play Helldivers 2 anymore because it just felt bloated. But Killing Floor was a great game because you buy the game, you're done. You're done. You buy the game and you're done. I love Killing Floor, and I have a lot of respect for that. In fact, we should definitely play some Killing Floor 2, I think. I think that'd be good. So we can really talk about it and show off what's going on. So Ace said, I didn't watch or play much content as I was going to wait for the sale and see what state it was in a few years. You're the first video I watched, and it's kind of sad. I agree. This video does very much so highlight the disappointingness of Killing Floor 3. My friends and I sporadically play Killing Floor 2. Right. And it seems like a lot of the flair that I liked isn't in this one. Correct. There's a lot less grunginess. There's a lot less blood, I think, actually. It looks like there's a lot less lighting effects to make the game look darker. Probably another studio nearly... Okay. Yeah. It's a bit hard to showcase in guns feel without... it's fine. I'm not worried about it. I think that this is... Yeah, I think the comments just kind of really highlight the problems. It's like Killing Floor 3 is rejecting its own identity, instead trying to be a generic blend of other games. Doom executions, Dark Tide movement, Apex abilities, hero shooter characteristics, Call of Duty attachments, resource farming and crafting. No Killing Floor 1 grinding vibe, no Killing Floor 2 animation polish, no realistic looking guns. Why? Tripwire already had a winning formula, just use it. I don't know why they do this. You know why? Because people buy this slop. Because people buy trash like this where you have poor animations, and look at these. Oh god, look at the lack of weapon variety, guys. Oh my god, isn't that such a problem for you? I don't know. I'd be complaining. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers what I need to say about it. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, make sure to give a big fat subscribe to this guy right here, Moonarino. He did a fantastic job. I think his videos are wonderful, and yeah. Make sure to subscribe. As always, I'm Elwirfy, and I will definitely see you guys next time.